everybody, and welcome. I'm Oriel Morrison-Higgins, and I'm here today with Julian Woodcock, the Managing Director of Viking Mines. Julian, welcome. It's great to have you with us today.
Hi, Oriel. Thank you for having me here.
So I wanted to break down your announcement, which is exciting news, obviously, for Viking Mines. The BLM has given you approval for your maiden drill campaign. This is pretty significant for you.
Yeah, this is just another step in the pathway that we've been moving on very rapidly over the last 4 or 5 months since we picked up the projects in December. Getting the drill permit approval by the BLM is the final regulatory step for us to getting the drill rigs on site and commencing with our maiden drill program, which we anticipate to start close to the end of June.
Okay. Now, when you look at this project overall, if you look at the history, correct me if I'm wrong, but it produced around 65,000 tons of tungsten previously. If you look at the history of the project, what does that tell you about what could still be in the ground now?
Yes, so as you point out, the mine was operating in the 1950s, so very long time ago, ceased production about 1956. They processed about 65,000 tons of ore at about 0.5%, which is high-grade tungsten oxide, WO3. The mine stopped at the time, not because they'd run out of resources, but because the tungsten price collapsed. At that time, the US government had a buying program, which meant that they were supporting the tungsten price. When they stopped that buying program, the price fell quite significantly, and essentially the mine workings just stopped. They had plans to mine to a deeper level, which haven't taken place. So we've got quite high confidence that there's a big opportunity for substantial mineralization remaining. And this is further evidenced by an exploration program which happened in the late 70s, where the geologists at the time got underground and were sampling the faces, and then they undertook drilling underneath the old workings, and they got results such as 9.8 meters at 0.5% WO3. So we know there's material left there, and we just need to get on with drilling it and start to establish the size potential of it.
Okay. So tell us about the 3 distinct areas that you're focusing on now and what the significance of that is.
Yes. So first area of priority is around the historical Linka mine, which is one of 3 mines on our land package over there. So we're going to be drilling probably about half of our drill holes, around 30 odd holes immediately there, testing underneath the old workings, testing underneath outcropping mineralization, really getting a feel of what a potential resource we could start to define. Second priority, and this is a really important one for us, is stepping out to the southwest of that old mine. So in the area, geologically, you've got the old rocks with the mineralization within it. And then to the southwest, there's a blanket of younger rocks which covers them over, kind of like putting mineralization underneath the duna. You can't actually see it at surface. But 800 meters away, we can see under the edge of it, and there's a surface sample at 0.6%. So we have a high confidence between the old mine and that surface sample 800 meters away, underneath this cover, that there could be more mineralization. So we'll be putting 4 traverses across that area, really trying to define the contact, and then hopefully identify some mineralization as well. And the third part to our program is across the bigger blue sky potential. We undertook some geophysics this year, and we've defined what we believe is a 7-kilometer perimeter of an intrusion, which is associated with the mineralization. And anywhere that intrusion contacts against the limestone rocks has the potential to form the skarn, which is what hosts the mineralization now. Our third part of this program is to just put some shallow vertical holes, testing what the bedrock is underneath that cover that overlays the intrusion. So that'll be a 2-step program. First, we'll just drill the holes to find the contacts. And then once we identify where the contacts are, in a subsequent phase of drilling, we'll go and test those contacts.
What's the timeline here, Julian? When do you think we'll have some results from that?
Yeah, so drilling, if we get on the ground late June, which is what we're working closely towards, and we're on track, we envisage drilling will take probably about 6 weeks or so. There'll be a couple of week delay from the start till we get the samples in the lab, just the lead time from drilling the holes. So I would anticipate we'd start getting results through probably sometime in August.
Okay, great. We'll be very much looking forward to that. A quick question before I let you go, Julian. Obviously, we've got the REEShore Act now in the United States, and for those investors who don't know, it's going to prohibit Chinese origin tungsten for being in the US defense supply chain. How does this change the opportunity that you have now?
I think this really gives us a very substantial opportunity. So and what I mean by that is the Pentagon reaches out to a group called the Defense Industry Base Consortium, which essentially is a membership that we're in the process of joining. And they put requests through that group for materials they need in the defense supply chain. And it's everything from rocket motors to chips, but through to critical minerals, which they need. And they recently put out a request through that group for critical minerals, of which tungsten featured high on their list. So the government is definitely taking a proactive approach in sourcing the materials they need, of which tungsten is one of them. And I believe this is just going to open up the opportunity for us to demonstrate that we have a potentially viable mine, and through that seek to get government support both from funding and fast tracking process towards getting permitting. So the government will be behind us once we can demonstrate that there's mineralization to be mined and feed into those supply chains that they need filling.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Julian, some very big months ahead. We're going to be looking forward to chatting to you again very soon. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Ariel.